What is up, guys? Needless Space here, and welcome to the channel with fast and easy guides to get straight to the point. So this video we're going to be talking about Destiny 2 and the best gear to farm during the Moments of Triumph event before it is too late, and how you can get this gear as a solo player. Real quick before we get started, guys, I am still doing a giveaway. If you'd like to find out more information on that, stick around and I'll talk about it later in the video. Alright guys, so the Moments of Triumph event is in full effect until September 22nd, and basically what it is the 5 old raids. I'm talking about Leviathan, Eater of Worlds, Spire of Stars, Scourge of the Past, and Crown of Sorrows. So all those raids currently, you can keep farming loot without a weekly cap. That means each encounter you will get a loot drop no matter how many times you repeat it during this event. So this is a perfect time to farm out gear you haven't acquired yet, and this is actually kind of like a last hurrah, because in September when Beyond Light drops, they will be getting rid of this content. It'll be thrown into the vault, so you won't be able to do it whenever you want. So it is very important, of course, if you have the time and if you're a collector, you want to definitely try to get all the gear from all these raids, but we don't all have that kind of time. So I'm going to be talking about the best pieces to go after in each raid. So first off, we have the OG Destiny 2 raid, the Leviathan raid. So for this one, the first weapon you definitely want to get is the Midnight Coup hand cannon. It's a legendary 150 RPM hand cannon, and it comes with 2 perks you always want to see for a hand cannon user, and that's Outlaw and Rampage. Some people still consider this to be one of the best weapons in Destiny history, so you don't want to be missing out. And the way you get this one is at the final boss in the Leviathan raid, Callus. Once you defeat him, you have a random chance to get it to drop, so keep an eye out for this one while you're doing your farming. Another great weapon to grab from this raid if you don't have it yet is Inaugural Address. It's a legendary pulse rifle, and it has great handling and recoil reduction, and it comes with the 2 perks, Outlaw and Kill Clip. These are definitely some top perks to have on a weapon, especially a pulse rifle. You can grab this one from any of the chests or activities during the raid. Also, if you haven't got your hands on the shotgun Legend of Acreus yet, you definitely want to run through the Leviathan raid before it's gone. So you get the quest from killing Cabal randomly on Nessus, but in order to finish the quest to get the gun, you do have to run through the Leviathan. It's an exotic shotgun that has a blast of arc energy that basically overpenetrates enemies, and you can also get the ornament for this weapon and its catalyst from the prestige version of the Leviathan raid. So if you're an exotic hunter, make sure you do this before it's gone. There is also a highly sought after ghost shell you can get from this raid called the Contender Shell. So this one actually drops from Leviathan, Eater of Worlds, and Spire of Stars. And essentially it has perks that increase your drop rate for bright engrams. And also if you receive an exotic drop while this ghost shell's equipped, it has a 50% chance to give you an exotic that you don't already have. So this is definitely something you want to get your hands on if you don't have it in your collection yet. Alright, so the next raid on the lineup is the Eater of Worlds raid. So this one, there isn't really much loot to get excited about. I mean, of course, like I said earlier, you still want to be going through these raids to pick up stuff that if you haven't received it yet, and you still want to experience going through these raids. But this one, there's just not really anything that shines out, except there is an armor set you can get for the Titan that a lot of people like to go after. It really gives them that thick boy look. It's definitely one of the bigger sets of Titan armor in the game. But other than that, there's not really much to worry about when it comes to the Eater of Worlds raid. Alright, so moving on to the Spire of Stars raid. So the first piece of gear we're going to talk about that you definitely want to get your hands on is the Last of the Legion sidearm. It's a kinetic legendary sidearm with curated rolls, corkscrew rifling, hammer forge rifling, fluted barrel. Then you can have your choice between Zen Moment or Ambitious Assassin, and then a full auto trigger system. Now, sidearms are very prevalent in this season, especially because of the new surprise attack mod. This essentially makes sidearms do insane amounts of damage if you can get charged with light, and this is to be considered one of the best sidearms in Destiny 2. You can get this sidearm from any encounter and any chest during the raid, so it shouldn't really take long to knock this one out. So the next thing you definitely want to pick up from this one is the Luxurious Toast Exotic Emote. This is the one where you're kind of lounging back in the chair, swirling the chalice around, and you don't actually even have to complete the raid for this one. All you have to do is finish the first encounter and open the chest. So at the very least, jump into this raid to snag yourself this exotic emote. It'll be a nice one to add to the collection if you don't have it yet. Something else that is highly sought after in the Spire of Stars raid is the Sleeper Stimulant Catalyst. Now this one can only be picked up in the prestige version of the raid, but if you do manage to get it to drop, it'll speed up the charge rate of your sleeper stimulant, and it'll increase the ammo reserves. Now, it's not a guarantee that this catalyst will drop, so now is the perfect time during the moments of triumph to be able to farm the prestige version of this raid so you can get your hands on it. Alright, the next raid that's part of the moments of triumph is Scourge of the Past, and the first piece of gear we're going to cover is the threat level kinetic shotgun. Now, this shotgun has been around for a while, but it is still one of the highest DPS shotguns out, and it does have random rolls, so it only makes sense to try to farm a god roll during this event. So if you're looking for a shotgun to fill up that kinetic slot, definitely check out Threat Level and Scourge of the Past. And of course, the other weapon you want to get your hands on from this raid, and I'm sure a lot of you saw this one coming, is Anarchy, the exotic grenade launcher. Now, Anarchy, at first glance, a lot of people thought it was an exotic that was sort of just for fun, but it actually has insane DPS potential if you use it correctly. It's a weapon that is still part of the meta in endgame PvE today, and it doesn't have a guaranteed chance of dropping. So while you can farm these raids and repeat them to get rewards, you definitely want to go through Scourge of the Past and get your hands on it. This is probably the one I would recommend going for the most out of everything on this list. You don't want to go through the moments of triumph, and you don't want to hit Beyond Light before you get your hands on it. Now, I'm sure it'll enter the loot pool later on, even after these raids are gone, but that just means there's no activity you can go to try to increase your odds. So definitely grind through Scourge of the Past and try to get your hands on this weapon. Now, the last raid that's part of the moments of triumph is the Crown of Sorrows. And we have two pieces of gear that made this list. The first one being the legendary machine gun Bane of Sorrow. It's a high impact frame machine gun. There are definitely better machine guns out there than this one, but people will still argue it can be considered one of the top 3, especially since it can come with the perks Outlaw and Firefly. Now, I wouldn't necessarily run this raid just for this weapon specifically, but if you do decide to run through Crown of Sorrows and it does drop, at least throw it in the vault for a rainy day. The other weapon you probably want to get your hands on from this raid is Terabah, the exotic submachine gun. Now, if you're an exotic collector, you definitely want to run through this raid at least once to get your hands on it. It's not an insanely great weapon, but it's still pretty fun. Essentially, when you damage enemies or when you receive damage, it charges up the weapon. Then you can hold the reload button and it increases its damage and fire rate for a short time. Not anything too crazy, but still something you want to add to your collection. And like I said before, this Moments of Triumph will end in September, so you can grind out for this gear without any restrictions until then. But the main thing I want to say is definitely run through each raid at least once, because after that date, these will be vaulted and won't be available, probably only for special occasions. And as I mentioned earlier, I wanted to tell you guys how you can do these as a solo player. Now, I myself am definitely a solo player. I don't have a clan that I run with or IRL friends. And my saving grace for getting things like this is LFG websites. Now, things like the Bungie Fireteam search, even the Destiny 2 app has a Fireteams tab, and there's even some subreddits built around finding groups to run things like this. Now, it might seem a little bit intimidating at first, but most people are just like me and you and kind of weary about playing with other people. And a lot of people actually get some enjoyment out of running new players through these for the first time. So don't be afraid to jump on these websites, make a post, or find some people doing the same thing as you and jump right in. And as I mentioned earlier, I am doing another giveaway that will conclude when I hit 10,000 subscribers. All you have to do to be part of it is make sure you like this video, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and to increase your odds, comment down below Moments of Triumph. All right, well, I hope you guys enjoyed this list, and I hope it narrowed down kind of where you want to start your grinding. Let me know in the comments as well what you're going to be going after first, and I will catch you guys in the next video, and as always, good luck and have fun.